The Kansas City Chiefs are one of those teams that, quite honestly, they always just seem to find a way to get it done. It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. Like these last couple of drafts for the Chiefs. I mean, I take the draft 2 years ago, for example. By the way, welcome back to our patience and pressure segment where we decide where what is facing all 32 NFL teams. Is it patience or is it pressure? What an intro, right? But back to it here a little bit. Really, for me, this team, when it seems to need players the most, it can just draft them, and it's the most frustrating thing. Not even frustrating; it's the most. It leaves me in awe because of the fact of the Vikings over the last, my Vikings and just watching other NFL teams struggle in the draft. And don't get me wrong, the Vikings have had some good draft classes, but take the draft 2 years ago, for example. The Chiefs needed 1-2 starters along the offensive line, and usually in the draft, that's pretty hard to find, especially on the interior, because, take a look at the Vikings. They took a shot on Garrett Bradbury in the first round a couple years ago in the first round. It was one of those things like, okay, he didn't exactly pan out. It is what it is. And I felt like it was kind of it's just kind of a conundrum. How do you find good interior offensive linemen? Well, coaching is one. That's definitely a big component of it. But number two, I think you really you've got specific things you're looking for on tape, and the Chiefs did a fantastic job of that in getting Creed Humphrey, I believe, in the third round, and then Trey Smith in the sixth round. So they found two players immediately. And then this last year, they found some, or in the 2022 NFL draft, they found some more starters. They got, obviously they got Sky Moore and all those guys. So Brian Cook, there's just, but I think it kind of goes with their mantra, though, because when we talk about this team of facing patience or pressure, I think the Chiefs are always clearly facing pressure. You can't have the best quarterback in the NFL that won a Super Bowl in his second full season as a starter, his third season in the NFL. Like, you can't have that kind of a caliber of a player and the head coach that they do in Andy Reid and not have pressure. Of course, there's pressure, and to a degree, I understand it. In terms of, if you want to say that if there's patience, but at the same time, again, we've got Patrick Mahomes in this room that has been compared in some cases better than Tom Brady in a lot of circles. Listen, I'm not ready to throw anything out there like that yet, but I will say, he's got the potential to be the greatest of all time. We'll have to see what happens down the line. But at the end of the day, I don't think we can disagree that there is pressure facing the Chiefs right now, especially when you talk about the offensive side of the football, what they can do. They're going to be in every single game that they play. Defensively, it's always the question of, can they slow down opposing teams enough to let Patrick Mahomes beat you? And I think, honestly, it puts a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes, but he does it. Like, he just continually finds a way to win these games and puts his team in a position to win. And it's fascinating to me. Like, I honestly, it's kind of one of those things where when you take a look at it as a franchise quarterback, that's what they're paid to do. Well, Patrick Mahomes has been doing it for a couple of seasons now with the Chiefs. And moving forward, the AFC, it just seems like it gets tougher and tougher. The AFC West now is it's easily the toughest division of football. You've got, and plus the AFC North is pretty tough as well. But when you talk about the AFC, the Bengals surprised a lot of people last year. The Raiders snuck into the playoffs. The Chargers are right there. The Broncos added Russell Wilson. Obviously the Bills are always going to be in that conversation. They're always going to be in that AFC Championship Super Bowl race. Honestly, with Josh Allen and company. So, man, it's a tough AFC, and it's an even tougher task when you've got all of that competition. I mean, the NFC is tough too, but I would almost argue that the NFC seems to be almost kind of a, I don't want to say it's not a cakewalk, but it's not as hard as the AFC when we talk about what a lot of these quarterbacks face. I mean, the Rams won it last year, in kind of a way that, who is their biggest competition? Okay, yeah, the Packers. Okay, yeah, I can see it. Or for that matter, a team like the 49ers. Don't get me wrong, the 49ers are actually really respectable. Nobody puts any respect on their name, which is a travesty, an absolute travesty. But anyway, back to patience or pressure here. As far as the Chiefs go, there is pressure, and I think as long as they continue to draft well and do their thing there, I think it will make it easier on this team. But moving forward, let's make no mistake, there is pressure on the Kansas City Chiefs. And another question, how long can they keep this up? Andy Reid at some point is going to retire Patrick Mahomes. I think he's still got another at least decade to 15 years of being dominant. But the question to me is, Travis Kelce's going to be gone at some point. Are the weapons going to be there long enough for a guy like Patrick Mahomes to be able to live up to his potential? We'll have to see. But let's make no mistake, there is pressure facing the Kansas City Chiefs. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. Give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about what is facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Is it patience or is it pressure?